In this episode, Celtic Capital President and CEO Mark Haffner and Executive Vice President and Chief Credit Officer Alex Fallow discuss how to manage your business for a better bottom line.
Many small businesses have trouble with their profit and loss because they don't have adequate controls over certain parts of their business. So we thought we'd talk about certain key factors to go into managing your business better to obtain a better net income. One, of course, is cash flow. So a lot of small businesses are undercapitalized, don't have adequate cash flow in their business. So managing that cash flow is really important. We always encourage our borrowers to create a 12, 13-week cash flow based on what they believe they're going to be doing from a revenue standpoint. Sometimes it's harder to look out past that 12 to 13-week time frame. And if you have that kind of on an ongoing basis, it can help manage your flow, knowing who you're going to pay and when. So cash flow, as they say, is king, and managing that is critically important. Another is controlling your inventory. A lot of small businesses have way too much inventory for the size of their operation, and they don't manage it properly. Knowing what your inventory is, how it's valued, keeping adequate control of it. Oftentimes we see balance sheets and the inventory is the largest asset on there and it's the least controlled. They may have their petty cash nailed down to the penny, but their inventory is not so much. Having adequate reporting of the inventory and how it's valued and knowing what you have and turning that inventory as often as you can will help you produce a better result. Some other things that go into managing your business are your large customers. Oftentimes, small businesses get too dependent on a particular customer or two, and that can have significant negative impacts on the business if something happens with that customer. So managing those larger relationships and trying to diversify so you're not so dependent is critical. If you have a large customer that's 30-40% of your business, and that customer has a problem or goes away or has a payment problem with you, that can create cash flow problems for you. And then it's also quite important to keep an eye on your accounts receivable and make sure they're paying timely, make sure you're following up, they have the paperwork they need to process your payment, and get your invoices in their payment system so you get paid timely. Those are a few items.
Yeah, Mark, I think I'd like to add that I think it's important for borrowers to do their best to keep their financials current on a monthly basis. I know sometimes in a manufacturing setting that's tough to do, even if you're able to publish financials the following month after an end of month, because most borrowers believe they know what their margins are, but they really don't, because things happen during a period of time that they don't see. And I think the other thing with not having financials is you're also probably in a situation where you're paying down past due trade debt. That doesn't show up in financials. So it's important, going back to your comment on cash flow, that be done in conjunction with your financials so that you can see where you're at. And I think for borrowers who are not operating at a break-even, they really need to build their projections from a bottoms-up approach so that they can see what sales level they need to be at. And if they can't attain or they're not at that sales levels, then they know they have to cut costs. It's the only way to manage the business.
Good points.
Thank you for listening today. If you'd like to talk to Mark Haffner about your specific business financing issue or about making referrals to Celtic Capital, sign up for a quick one-on-one chat with him at www.celticcapital.com. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to our podcast channel to hear more business financing insights from Celtic Capital.